This is Dr. Stephen Myers from Fresh Start Bariatrics here in Columbus, Ohio at Riverside Methodist Hospital. Laura Garn is with us, and she has a very interesting story. Um, Laura, why don't you explain to us first about your diabetes? What type of diabetes do you have, and when you received those diagnoses?
Um, right now, I'm a type 1. I was diagnosed when I was 16 as a type 1, and later had developed insulin resistance, so effectively type 1 and type 2 at the same time.
Hmm. And just to jump to which operation you had so that we can put this into frame this in some kind of a context, explain to us which operation you had and when and why you selected that particular operation.
I had the gastric sleeve, and I had it in September, which is about 6.5 months ago. I decided on the gastric sleeve because I did not want the malabsorption issue of the bypass. Plus, I knew that since I was a type 1 diabetic that it wouldn't completely resolve itself, but I knew that the type 2 aspect would get better.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I thought that was the best option for me.
Mm-hmm. And I told you before that you may be one of the few people in the world that are a type 2, type 1 diabetic that has had a gastric sleeve. So it's very interesting. Tell us how you're doing, how you manage your diabetes before, and what you're finding now.
I was put on an insulin pump eventually because my pancreas completely failed. So before the surgery, I was on an average of 150 to 160 units of insulin a day, really high resistance, had to do a lot of insulin for all my meals. After the surgery, my insulin is about a third of where it is. I'm on about 60 to 65 units a day now. My insulin sensitivity is getting up. I don't need as much insulin for what I'm eating now.
Mm-hmm.
So the type 2 aspect of the diabetes has reversed itself.
Mm-hmm.
Still a type 1, still need the insulin, but it's not as hard to control.
It's very interesting, and you feel like your your glucose swings are not as high. Is that what I heard from you as well?
Right. I don't get as much of a peak after I eat because it levels itself out better.
Mm-hmm.
So, which means in the long term, the A1C is better, the control is better, and you won't have as many bad side effects of having
Mm-hmm.
diabetes when everything is nice and stable.
Yeah,
So it's a lot easier for me now.
that's great. And how much weight have you lost so far in the 6 months?
I've lost 66, I believe,
Uh-huh.
today, so
Uh-huh.
which is exciting.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Laura, I'm just delighted with how you're doing. I really am, and it's unusual to do a gastric sleeve on a type 1 diabetic, but I'm glad you're doing very well. I'm glad things are smoothing out for you. You're on like a third of the insulin you were on before,
Yes.
and I'm just really happy for you. So keep up the great work, and I'm really pleased with how you're doing.
Well, thank you.